I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah.
Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily spreading like a rare disease, but I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
What up? It is officially that day. It's a monumental day in the history of America. It is the launch of NFLDraft.net. This is a passion project of mine. If you don't know who I am, which would be strange because we're running this on our normal YouTube, I am at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green, and my greatest love outside of my wife and my family is the NFL Draft. I started covering the draft. This is my 15th year. I've had some really good ones. I've had some really bad ones. Jaden Daniels is serving to be my latest greatest hit. And so I figured there was no better way to kick this off than with my quarterback rankings for the 2025 draft. This is the one part of this draft that is not going to change. We've got the Senior Bowl. I will be live from the Senior Bowl next week. There are a lot of players there that can really help their stock. I'm going to level with you. There's not a quarterback at the Senior Bowl that could sprout wings and fly and change what I feel about them. This is one of the worst draft classes I have ever evaluated for quarterbacks because there's just not really anybody that sends me. You can comment in the YouTube chat here. It's this is a free view. We will be doing a lot of things on our new YouTube channel, which all of our NFL draft stuff will be moving to. Not all at once. We will still do NFL draft stuff on our Sportsocracy YouTube channel, but most of it will be moving to the new channel, which you can find in the chat. I've also linked in the Discord. Not the Discord, the Patreon, which comes with the Discord. There are several different levels. Basically, if you just want to view the content, it's $3 a month. If you want a little bit more in depth of an experience, it's $10 a month. And then if you want full ability to say, hey, I want you to deep dive on the player X, that would be the $20 a month tier. And I understand that the $20 a month tier is expensive. You will be able to still consume all of the things that we do with the draft for that $3 a month tier. You'll still be able to do some of it for free. But a wise man once told me, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And I'm doing it for as little as I can to put the time into it that I need to. Last year's draft was the best access that we have ever had. It was also the least prepared for a draft that I've ever been. I'm going to get a little serious here. We have great sponsors. Ingalls Markets, Parks Ford, Hendersonville, Clarissa Sells, WNC.com. Those three are absolutely phenomenal. We love them. They allow us to do so many things. Now we're trying to make ancillary income so we can continue to do all of the things that you guys seem to like, without having to spend all of our time chasing sponsors around. Those three are fantastic because they know what to expect of us. We know what to expect of them. And it is such a beautiful relationship. Everything else, it's difficult. It's difficult for two people to do as much content as we do. And that's what we want to do. So that's why there is a Patreon. That's why there are all of these things. Over the course of probably the next 5 months, I will be shifting a lot of my attention to the draft. When the draft website goes live later today, you will be able to see a blog post that I wrote that it comes from the heart. It gives you a little more in depth about me. I got into this as a writer, and I really like to write. I really like doing this, and I really like talking about the NFL draft. Some of these other things have started to weigh on me. And Tank is a busy damn dude. So, you know, he has other things that draw some of his time, and I do not begrudge him that at all. It is, I'm so proud of him and the things that he's doing. He has basically become our de facto boss. Nobody really knows that. We haven't talked about it much, but that's where it is. He has de facto become the program director at iHeart. He's doing a lot of things. He's wearing a lot of hats. And so I have decided to take the draft mantle, not completely to myself. I want him to still be able to do the fun stuff, but I don't want to be a drag on his time trying to record mock drafts and things like that. So you will see some new friends. Trevor Sycamore will be joining me one day very soon. We have not hemmed down what day that will be. I have a lot of other draft friends that you'll be meeting over the Senior Bowl and different things like that. So we're very, I am personally very excited about this. This is something I have wanted for many years, going back to writing for other people as a ghostwriter. I've always wanted my own draft website. I've wanted to do the draft 12 months out of the year, and today is step one of that. I have to pull up my buttons. If you've been watching our live streams, you know that it's a little I'll say clunky at times because I have to run all the buttons. I apologize. It's just the way it is. Our first super chat of the live stream.
I'm gonna come.
And yes, I did that on purpose. And it's okay if you don't like it. I'm not trying to throw anything in your face. It's the button that I found that I like the most. It's from our buddy Colin, who said, speaking of the Discord, it is ready for you guys. Let me know what you guys want in it. So the Discord comes with every level of the Patreon. That's going to be basically a one-stop shop. If you've ever wanted to just be able to talk to Mel Kiper, I am Mullet Kiper. So I'll be talking about the draft. I'll do some Q&As in the Discord. I'm really going to fixate on the Discord. And a big thank you to Colin, who is handling a lot of that for me. I also want to take this time to thank William Workman and Jonathan Welch and intern Michaela, who are doing a lot of really good things content-wise to help me out with this venture. I couldn't do it without you guys, and I'm very, very excited for that. So that's all of the clerical things. Now let's get into what we're all here for, and that's to talk about quarterbacks. This is the first position breakdown. Basically, with every one of them, what I do is I'll do a 30,000 foot view of what it is that position group brings you, and I'm starting with quarterbacks. This year's quarterback class sucks on ice, and that is the nicest way that I can say it. If you were around last year, you know how my grading system works, but I'm going to explain it here to really boil it down. So every year I grade upwards of 500 prospects. It depends on how many cross my desk. I get a lot of people that go, hey, watch this guy, and I'll deep dive into the tape, and very rarely do those guys ever get above a 6. If I hadn't seen you coming in, the chances of me really falling in love with you are not particularly high. But the way my grading scale works is anything 9-1 to 10 is elite. Anything 8-1 to 9 is a legit day one NFL starter. 7-1 to 8 is a developmental starter. These are guys that I think could become starters in the NFL, but you're going to have to put some time into it. 6-1 to 7 is a fringe NFL starter. You're in that situational, you go to the right team, you could be a good starter. You go to the wrong team, you could be out of the league in 3 years. 5-1 to 6 is a backup. Sub 5, so in between 4-1 and 5 is a priority undrafted free agent. Sub 4 is an undrafted free agent. Non-priority, basically just a camp arm. So this year, we start with the quarterbacks. I only have one that falls into starter territory, and it's Cam Ward. I think he would have been the 4th quarterback taken last year. I think he would have gone ahead of J.J. McCarthy. I think he would have gone ahead of Michael Penix. I think he would have gone ahead of Bo Nix. I would have had him as my 4 last year, and he would have been right there with Caleb Williams. I don't have that graphic from last year pulled up, but I know that Jaden Daniels was the high side, and I had him at an 8.6. Drake May, I believe, was an 8.4, and Caleb was an 8.1, if memory serves me. I have Cam Ward just slightly ahead of that. He's my number 22 overall prospect in this class. I'm really fond of what he can do. I am worried that he's going to go to a team, most likely the Tennessee Titans, that doesn't really have all of the necessary pieces. This kid's really athletic, and I think he will be able to move in the pocket. We're really seeing a move to where the statue quarterbacks, the days of the statue quarterbacks are just, it's over and done with. Cam Ward's not a statue. He processes really quickly. He has a really nice release. I like a lot of things about him. I don't love that he is going to be a day one, no doubt starter. That does make me nervous. I ideally would love for him to sit about half the year, maybe even take the Pat Mahomes model of sit behind a veteran, learn how to play quarterback. I just know definitively that's not going to happen. He's going to come in immediately and have to play. And I'm afraid that what that's going to lead to is it's going to be a real microcosm of some issues that he has. He is not a particularly good protector of the football. He had a lot of fumbles. I think he had 8 last year at Miami. And I am worried about that. He also has a tendency to trust his arm entirely too much. And we see that out of young quarterbacks. It's not uncommon. It worries me with Cam Ward, but he is definitively my number 1 prospect in this class. I am excited about Cam Ward, and I'm pretty confident he's going to end up being the number 1 pick in this draft. We have another super chat. If I can find the button. It's here somewhere.
I'm going to come.
There it is. This one's from Red Sea, who said, all hail, Grand Ruler, the Mullet King, Mullet Caper. I will be probably having Mullet Caper shirts made. That just feels like a thing that needs to be done. I appreciate you, Red Sea. And to answer some of the questions in the chat, basically I will be breaking down each player, and then I will address the chat. That's just the way it works when there's only one of us here. So, yes, this stream is different than the Overreaction Monday stream. That will start at 2 o'clock today. Tank is handling things for the inauguration. That is why we are not on ESPN Radio today. He does have political ties. He does a political show, so obviously the inauguration is something that he had to handle hands-on. So he will be here at 2 o'clock in a separate stream. This one will run till roughly 1 o'clock. If there are questions and things like that, I will run longer. But basically, we're going to break down the quarterbacks here. We're introducing the Patreon. We're introducing the new YouTube page. And then we will put out NFLDraft.net. And the content on that will flow in over the course of the week. I will be doing individual videos, just like this one, to put out prospect rankings. And this is the first one with the quarterbacks. Let me see if there is anything else that needs to be touched on in there. Andreas Pinckney said, it's a 3-quarterback class, in my opinion. Ward, Sanders, and Dart are the only quarterbacks I would even look at. Now, it's funny you said that way, because I only have 4 quarterbacks with over a 7 grade. Cam Ward's an 8.2. Shadur Sanders is my 2 at a 7.5. I have a 3rd-round grade on Shadur Sanders. I have Jackson Dart at a 7.2 and Quinn Ewers at a 7.1. Those are all 3 3rd-round grades for me. And that leads me into Shadur Sanders. I will go ahead and tell you, I'm not as fond of Shadur as a lot of other people are. I think taking him in the first round is one of the most laughably stupid things I have ever heard anybody say to me. There is nothing about him that has ever struck me as first-round quarterback material. If I had a comp to him, it would probably be Michael Penix, because I think he does have – I think he can see a field. I think when everything is hunky-dunky, he can pick and pop. The problem is when chaos ensues. He completed 74% of his passes last year. That was the best in FBS football. He's very good in the short game, in the intermediate. Where you really start to see deficiencies with him is when he gets into obvious passing downs. That is, and I will at some point do a deep dive on Shadur to show exactly what it is about him that I'm not super fond of. And it's not that it's hard for me to explain. It's actually pretty simple. The thing I don't love about him is I feel like it's kind of the same thing I said last year with Caleb Williams. He's played such a low tier of competition that it's hard for me to evaluate him. And then I go down the game logs with Shadur, and you see a lot of great games that he had against terrible defenses. Then he played BYU. All right, they played BYU in the bowl game. His QBR was an 18.6. They played Nebraska early in the season. That was one of the better teams they played. He was a 21.2. Baylor in an overtime game. Another better defense. Not great, but better. 57.7. Then you see North Dakota State is an 81.7. UCF's an 89.5. Cincinnati's a 91.6. Kansas a 92.9. Those are all terrible defenses. So the fact that you could beat the hell out of a bad defense doesn't really mean much to me. And so I really narrowed down on that Nebraska tape, which was bad. And I narrowed down on that BYU tape, which was better. And the fact that, and Andreas pointed out in the YouTube chat, Shadur turns his back to the offensive line. That is a telltale sign of uncomfortable in the pocket. That is something that will get you killed in the NFL. And it is something that does not tend to get better. I have seen Zach Wilson had a horrible, he was the one that actually made me realize how big of a deal that is. Because when you do that, you basically lose all tenets of progressions, all tenets of reads, and I think he's really going to struggle with that in the NFL. I fully believe that Shadur should be drafted as a developmental prospect with the intention of him taking over from a veteran starter 2 years from now. Now, here is what's going to happen. And I'm calling my shot on this. He is not going to the Cleveland Browns. Dion has made it perfectly clear that he does not want to be put into a bad market, into a cold market, and Cleveland checks all his boxes. So I think he is going to force a deal between the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. And he's not even hiding it. He wore New York Giant cleats in his bowl game. He's not hiding that that's where he wants to go. He wants to be in the big market. All of those things scare the hell out of me. I don't want that. I don't want the prima donna quarterback. I don't want a diva quarterback. I don't want any of these things. I don't want to deal with his dad. I don't want to deal with any of it. So for me, Shadur is a 100% no touch because I know he's not going to be on the board when I would be comfortable drafting him. There will be an NFL team that walks into next season with Shadur Sanders as their starter, and I think you are already eliminated before this season even started. I am more down on Shadur Sanders than I was on Caleb Williams, and I hate to break it to you, I wasn't wrong about Caleb Williams, and I'm not wrong here. We have another super chat. This one's from our buddy Colin.
I'm going to come.
All things connected to NFLDraft.net will be posted in the Patreon later today. The website, Discord, etc. will all be on the Patreon. And look, the Patreon thing, I said it at the start of this, this is not a money grab. This is just we are trying to find ways to be able to do all of the content because last year I spent virtually the entire draft season chasing my tail, and I don't want to do it again. I want to be sitting here talking NFL draft and deep diving prospects. That's what I want to do. So we hope that over the course of time you will enjoy the Patreon, and the beauty is you can tell me exactly what you want it to be. I know what I would want it to be as a fan, and that's what I'm trying to bring to you guys. So and thank you again to Colin for handling all things Discord. That brings me to my number 3 quarterback in the class, and I am just flat out higher on this kid than the industry is. If I were drafting a quarterback in this class, I am damn near positive that the one I would wind up with would be Jackson Dart. 6'2", 225 out of Ole Miss, started at USC. I said after his first start at USC, I'm calling my shot. This kid is going to be a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's going to be a number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I got damn close on Heisman Trophy winner. He's not going to go 1. And I understand the aversion. I understand he's in that Lane Kiffin system. It's very pick and pop. You're doing a lot of things that are not necessarily NFL concepts. Here would be what I would say to that. The NFL game is becoming so much more collegiate that it allows a kid like Jackson Dart to come into this league and succeed. I look at a lot of the things Pat Mahomes does, whether it's RPO, whether it's just being able to move in the pocket, and I see a lot of that out of Jackson Dart. He is a really good runner. I think he's undervalued for how good a runner he is. I am really curious to see what his 40 is going to be when he runs. He is a kid I'm looking forward to seeing at the Senior Bowl. Because I think in the practices, he can really show that in a short week, learning a new scheme, learning a new offense, learning new receivers, that it wasn't just the pick and pop with Lane Kiffin. That being said, he can also completely destroy himself this week, this upcoming week. Because if he goes down there and he looks uncomfortable, it's really going to steer into that narrative that that's all he can do. He can only play the pick and pop scheme that Lane Kiffin provided for him. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he'll go down there and be fantastic. I think he'll be able to show off that his arm is stronger than people think. I hear a lot of knocks on he doesn't have the strongest arm. You're right. He doesn't have a Michael Penix cannon. He has a really solid arm. He is really accurate. He needs to work on being a little bit more accurate and more consistent in the short passing game, and the best way to do that is to shore up his feet. His feet, I don't even really have to watch the upper half of his body. I can watch his feet and tell you exactly what is going to happen in his tape. Another thing I really like about him, really good under pressure. He's the exact opposite of Shadur Sanders. When when chaos comes, he is better at stepping up, getting high in the pocket, and finding, whether it's a check down or pushing through the progression, he is better at not taking chaos plays than Shadur Sanders is. The one thing in this class that could change, there is a great possibility that after a solid week at the Senior Bowl and a solid showing at the Combine that I will have Jackson Dart ahead of Shadur Sanders. I'm a big fan of Dart. I've been a big fan of Dart. It's not really going to change. Also, one of the biggest knocks that I just had on Shadur, let's play the same game with Jackson Dart. All right, I'm going to go to the old employer, ESPN.com. Stats per game for Jackson Dart. In the bowl game against Duke, 95.2 QBR. Against a hot Florida team that wound up beating Ole Miss, he was an 88.2. Against the number 3 team in the country, Georgia, 87.6. He had a rougher outing against LSU. He also got sacked 6 times. Against South Carolina, one of the best defenses in the country, 90.8. This kid's he is the antithesis of everything Shadur Sanders is not. I think and the good thing is that I'm going to be able to get him as a developmental prospect as opposed to he is just a guaranteed, no doubt, franchise quarterback. Now, good question in the YouTube chat from Gambit fan. So why does he have a lower grade than Shadur? That's very simple, because Shadur has a way higher ceiling. Shadur, if he got with Shadur could fall into the same pattern that Pat Mahomes did. I am not trying to compare those two, and I don't even want that to be misconstrued. If you got Shadur Sanders with a Ben Johnson or just a true quarterback whisperer who's really good at developing quarterbacks, the raw tools of Shadur are better than Jackson Dart ever will be. I have to factor that in. Where the hatred comes from, and this is something that you will, and it's not hatred of the guy, it's hatred of the prospect. This is something that you will hear. It's a basic tenet of how I evaluate. Every player across America has a value where I would be okay with him, no matter how bad I dislike the prospect. If I could have gotten Caleb Williams last year at number 75, I'd have been all in. The problem is that I have to take him at 1. And he ain't the best. He is not the best prospect in this class. I had Jaden Daniels much higher. I was great with Jaden Daniels at 2. I was great with Drake May at 3. I didn't really mind Michael Penix at 8. I just hated who took him. The other 2 were both third-round prospects. And Bo Nix got the Broncos to the playoffs. Fantastic. You've seen the best of what he's going to be. That doesn't change the fact that I had a higher grade on McCarthy, who I haven't seen, because he does have a higher upside. The draft is all about upside. If I'm going to take a guy in the second or third round, I don't really want safety. I don't want to know that I'm going to have the 22nd best quarterback for the next 10 years. I want a guy that I would rather have a guy that can be top 10 or could be out of the league in 3 years, and I'm here doing it all over again. Easy for me to say because I'm not employed by a team, and it's not my job on the line. So I hope I answered that question from Gambit fan, but that is the rationale there. All right, we're moving on to number 4. This is the second quarterback and the only one that I have left evaluated that is not going to any form of postseason game. Quinn Ewers is not going to the Senior Bowl. He is not going to the Shrine Bowl. And I think he really could use it. Quinn is so damn inconsistent. And he's absolutely maddening because in a clean pocket, he might be the most talented passer in this class. The problem is when chaos ensues, he absolutely wilts. His feet get inconsistent. His accuracy drops. He takes some really bad sacks. But there's still a lot to like about Quinn. Look, this is a guy that got to the college football playoff semifinal twice. There are some incredible things about Quinn Ewers. 20 straight games with a touchdown pass. 15 touchdowns to 1 interception on the road. He does a lot of things really, really well. The problem is that they're so damn inconsistent. I disagree with a lot of the industry. I think he does have special arm talent. I just don't think you see it enough. I would be of the belief, and I'm going to say kind of the same thing I said about Jackson Dart. If I was looking for a quarterback in this class, I would be fine if I was the New York Giants or the Las Vegas Raiders or the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are kind of a bad example because I know Deshaun Watson's not going to play next year. I want to sit Quinn Ewers on the bench with absolutely no possibility that he's going to get on the field. And I want you to learn to be a damn quarterback. I want you to learn to be a damn NFL quarterback. I want you at the sidearm of a Jared Goff, of any high-level veteran. Because I've always thought Quinn Ewers had higher aspirations. I think he made a lot of money in NIL. I think he did a lot of shit off the field from a marketing standpoint that maybe took his eye off the prize. And this draft is about to humble him because I can't believe he came out. Somebody earlier asked me about Carson Beck. Carson Beck would have been my 4 in this class, if that tells you anything. And any of you that know me know I am no fan of Carson Beck. I don't think he's a very good. I don't think he's a very good prospect. There's not a lot there. It was Matt Penn who said it would have made sense for Carson Beck to go to the draft because this quarterback class is awful. I don't disagree with you because I think he's going to get lost next year. Because next year you're going to get a couple of these guys that really solidify themselves, and I'm looking specifically at Drew Aller. You're going to see the talent there, and somebody's going to fall in love with it. I don't see that with Carson Beck. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up right here with Quinn Ewers, I see a lot of the same thing there. You got to realize Quinn Ewers had three receivers at Texas that are going to be drafted in this class. He had a running back that was drafted last year in Jonathan Brooks. He has another one that will be drafted this year in Jaden Blue. That's just a lot of talent for a guy to have looked this bad in big situations. I go back to the end of the loss to Ohio State. That is what would scare me about Quinn Ewers as a prospect moving forward. We have another super chat. This one's from Sir Jimothy.
I'm going to come.
He said, just joined. Did your Lamar stock drop with a loss? We are going to talk about Lamar Jackson in the Overreaction Monday stream that starts 1.5 hours from right now. 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. Tank will join me. We're obviously a little later than we usually would be, but we will be doing Overreaction Monday starting at 2:00. But to answer your question, since you did super chat it, yes, Lamar stock dropped for me after that, and that is what we are going to start that live stream with. But I don't think I'm going to say what you expect me to say. So thank you, Sir Jimothy, for that, and join us at 2:00 this afternoon for Overreaction Monday. We continue here with quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL Draft class. This is the launch day of NFLDraft.net, my new little pet project. Our link to our Patreon, our link to our YouTube, which YouTube will be getting a lot of love for NFLDraft.net. So I will be putting that out. I'm going to be putting that out ad nauseum because we really want to monetize that page very, very quickly. So any assistance that people can be in promoting that, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now, I'm going to take a little swig of my Monster because I've been talking for 32 solid minutes. Stand by. Okay. We are through our top 4. If you're just joining, Cam Ward is at 1. Shadur Sanders is at 2A. Jackson Dart's at 2B. Quinn Ewers is at 4. Now we're getting into beauties in the eye of the beholder. Because to like any of these guys, you are really, really going to have to be desperate for a quarterback. But there's one that I take slightly ahead of the rest. He's going to the Shrine Bowl. It's Kyle McCord out of Syracuse. I did not like this guy at all at Ohio State. The funny thing is, I think he would have been really good with Chip Kelly. They just tapped out on him a year early. He is ridiculously accurate inside 30 yards. Over the top, not so much. Short, not so much. he's just inconsistent. But I think there's a lot with him to like. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year for a Syracuse team that had one draftable receiver. There's a merit to that, to me. There's also a merit that 2 Power 5 schools looked at him and went, that's the guy that can lead our program. It didn't work so hot at Ohio State. It worked really well at Syracuse. And I think he turned that program around. He is insanely smart. And he has a deep ball that's really good when it's good. If you only watch the Syracuse tape, you would think he is a great deep ball thrower. Go back to the Ohio State tape. And I can't forget that. I can't just act like the only thing that I've seen from him was at Syracuse. What I saw at Ohio State with elite receivers was not elite. I didn't see him as a draftable quarterback until he went to Syracuse. But a lot of things did improve at Syracuse. He's also about as athletic as a wet fart. So I don't know that the NFL hasn't changed to such a point that he's never going to be more than a Chase Daniel or a Colt McCoy, just a guy that can be a second arm that's really good to have in a room. But I don't know if he's just not athletic enough to be a quarterback in the NFL. I'm curious to see what he runs. I'm curious to see how his workout goes. He is a guy I will keep a very dedicated eye on at the NFL Combine when we are there in March. But my number 5 quarterback in the class is Syracuse quarterback Kyle McCord, headed to the East-West Shrine Bowl. Now, my 6th quarterback, by the way, the grade on Kyle McCord's a 6.2. Tyler Shuck is my 6th. And this is probably the weirdest evaluation of the bunch, because I think Tyler Shuck is probably the most talented passer of the football in this class. Then we get into his problem, which is he is made of popsicle sticks. I know there are people in this industry that don't like Shuck at all. They don't think he is draftable. They are not going to pass him on from a medical standpoint because he has had 3 season-ending injuries. But he's very big, 6'5" and 225 pounds. I think he's decently mobile. He has become less mobile with injuries, but he's still a threat as a runner enough to be a modern-day NFL quarterback. If I can pass him on the medical, and this is one that my team doctors are going to cut him to pieces because I am scared to death that the injuries have just become too much. And he starts getting hit at an NFL speed, and he's not going to be able to hold up to it. For point of reference, Tyler Shuck is 25 years old. He's already 25, turned 25 on September the 28th. He has been in college for 6 full years, played 2 years at Oregon, played 3 years at Texas Tech, played a full year at Louisville. In 6 seasons, and he was a starting quarterback for 5 of these, he's thrown 951 passes total. And 389 of them were this year. He had never thrown more than 177 passes in a year because he kept getting hurt. But 2.5 to 1 touchdown to interception ratio, only sacked 49 times in 6 years. Of which, yes, I do know that Michael Penix last year, his 8 in his final season at Washington or whatever it was. I think 8 was after the Michigan game. I think it was 4 going into that. I know that sets a different bar. That's incredibly impressive and shows that Tyler Shuck's a dynamic kid. If he is healthy, he will be a decent quarterback in the NFL. I'll tell you the one that I can't get away from. I love the idea of him backing up Justin Herbert because I think he has that kind of upside, and I can be super patient with him, and it prevents me from ever having to play Easton Stick ever again. So my number 6 quarterback in the class is Tyler Shuck. I have 5 more draftable quarterbacks, 3 5th-round grades, a 6th-round grade, and a 7th-round grade. And I'm sure somebody is at the very least thinking, I haven't heard Jalen Milroe yet. You're right, because he's my 7. I don't like Jalen Milroe. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I think he reminds me so much of Denard Robinson at times that it is absolutely disgusting, and I am terrified that a team is going to take him in the top 10, 15 players. He is a great runner, incredibly explosive, incredibly fast. To me, the way he runs is considerably faster Jalen Hurts because he is a big, thick kid. He's 6'2", 225, and I think he's going to run really, really fast. The problem is that in a pro-style NFL offense, I have seen him just be miserably inconsistent. His arm angles are terrible. His mechanics are terrible. His mental, the cognitive down the field, when he is asked to make more than 2-step progression reads, is terrible. Jalen Milroe should not play a game in the NFL for 2 years. Period. I don't give a damn what team he goes to. He reminds me at times of Justin Fields. That he has all of the physical tools. He has been the most athletic player on every field that he has played on. And he's never actually developed as a quarterback. And I run into this problem a lot with run-first quarterbacks. You have always been the most athletic guy on the field, so you never really developed a skill set. You're just fast, or you're just a good runner, or you're just a big arm, whatever it is. And as William Workman said, he needs to be a 4th, 5th round guy who ends up with the 49ers, the Ravens, or the Eagles as a backup. I agree with every word that he just said. Matthew Hoffman asked, if he switched to running back, where would that put him in the draft? It's hard for me to project that. I mean, it would probably keep his evaluation about the same because he is so athletic and he's so good with the ball in his hands that there is a place for him in the NFL. A la what you saw the Pittsburgh Steelers do with Justin Fields. Because he is dynamic, he can get out of the pocket, and he can really hurt you with his feet. I am not putting the draft capital into that, where he's going to go. Because I'm almost positive he's going to go in the first round. Teams get obsessed with finding a quarterback, and he's going to be a quarterback that it's really easy for a team to go, I can sell that because he can run. But I think he has bust written all over him. Another great big issue with Jalen Milroe, and it's a problem that I've seen out of a lot of runners over the years. He predetermines that he's going to run, and it doesn't really matter what happens in front of him. As soon as the ball hits his hand, he knows he's going to run. So it doesn't matter if somebody breaks wide ass open. He will run out of a clean pocket more often probably than any guy I've ever covered. Oh, my camera's doing that thing again. Sorry about that. I'm just not a fan of Milroe, and I doubt I ever will be. But I will see him. He is at the Senior Bowl. I'm pretty sure he is at the Senior Bowl. He is. As is my next quarterback, Will Howard. Will Howard, there's not much here because he is, I think we all know exactly what he is, which is he's a backup NFL quarterback. Big, thick kid. He's got an ability to run. Throws a nice deep ball. I don't see anything special about him. He is not as accurate as I would want him to be. He's going to be a considerably older rookie than most. He's just a little bit younger than Tyler Shuck, if memory serves me. He's 23, so he is 2 years younger than Tyler Shuck, but he will still be a 24-year-old rookie. And for a guy that I don't really see high side out of, it's hard for me to invest too much into that. I will be interested to see him tonight. We are doing a live stream for the national championship game tonight, 7:30 Notre Dame, Ohio State, and that will be Tank and I for another live stream watch party. I'm not real high on Will Howard. I'm interested to see what he does in Mobile and see if he can possibly help his draft stock a little bit. I don't see him being anything more than a late day 3 guy that some team really needs a backup and they think they can get something out of him 2 to 3 years down the line. That's all he is. There's not much else there. I have 3 more draftable quarterbacks in this class. The next one is the last one going to the East-West Shrine Bowl, and it's Curtis Rourke from Indiana. For those of you that are not super up on the Shrine Bowl and who's going there and all of those things, the quarterbacks at the Shrine Bowl are Shadur Sanders, Kyle McCord, Tyler Shuck, Curtis Rourke, Mark Gronowski from South Dakota State, Max Brosmer from Minnesota, Cam Miller from North Dakota State, and Seth Hennigan from Memphis. Of those guys, the only one, Gronowski, I thought was going to come back to school because he was getting some transfer portal interest. A late round flyer, maybe. I am interested to see Seth Hennigan, though, because I do believe there is maybe a draftable grade in him that would make him my 12th draftable quarterback in this class. But I don't have a draftable grade on any of them yet. I do need to dive a little further into Gronowski. I didn't do as much research on him this year because I was pretty confident he was coming back to school. I'm going to move. Sorry, my camera moved at some point. I activated it and didn't mean to. But Curtis Rourke is my next quarterback. That puts him at number 9 for me. This kid started at Ohio, wound up at Indiana this year, was really, really did a really good job for Indiana. And I think there is a possibility that he could be a halfway decent NFL quarterback. I don't know that he has a high side. Because he's another one that is reasonably older, if memory serves me. I believe he's 23. No, he's 24. So, I am always cautious of the guy that is just way older, and the best tape I've ever seen from him was when he was way older. And I know somebody's going to say, but I thought you liked Tyler Shuck. I did, and I do. The thing with Shuck is that he has been consistently good over the course of time. Curtis Rourke was really good at Ohio. I just didn't see him playing high-level draftable football. I thought he was a late-round prospect at Ohio. Then he comes into Indiana, and he looks fantastic. There are things that I really like about him. I think he is a natural thrower of the football. I just don't know that he has some size limitations. He doesn't have the strongest arm that I've ever seen. And when I say he has size limitations, I almost think Curtis Rourke is too big. He's 6'5", 235. And yes, that's a big frame, but it's a big frame on a guy that did kind of make a lot of his living as a mobile guy. I don't know that he's going to be mobile in the NFL because he's not really Josh Allen that's just going to run over you. He's a pretty smooth runner that I'm afraid he's not fast enough at the next level to be as mobile as he was in college. I hope that made sense. It kind of turned into a word salad where I didn't mean for it to. I don't know that he's athletic enough to run the way he did in college. So that would be my fear with Curtis Rourke. I also don't know that he has the highest of high side, but he's a project I would be willing to invest in. We have another super chat. This one is from
I'm going to come.
Colin. All of these quarterbacks are projects and need a year to sit or more. Hail to King Mullet Kiper. Thank you. I am, for those of you that don't know me, I am at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green. This is the launch of our new endeavor, NFLDraft.net. The website will be up later today. The Patreon is live now. The YouTube channel is live now. And over the course of the next 95 days, we're going to do a lot of NFL draft stuff. We're starting right here with the quarterbacks. I've got 2 more left that I have draftable grades on. We have gone Cam Ward at 1, Shadur Sanders at 2, Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, Curtis Rourke. And now we get to the other quarterback playing tonight, Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard, to me, has absolutely no NFL upside in terms of ever being a starter. I do not see a path that he ever starts a game of an NFL team's choosing at the next level. However, I also don't really see a way that he's not going to play in the NFL for the better part of the next 10 years. Because he's a big kid. He's not as thick as Curtis Rourke, but he's roughly the same height, size. Doesn't have as... I don't think he has a special arm. I think he's got a consistent... Ball placement is good. Accuracy doesn't tend to drop off the table. I just don't ever think it's special, and he is mobile enough. I don't think he is a special type of mobile. He's kind of a throwback quarterback, to be really honest with you. And I think he's a good leader of men. I think he's really, really smart football-wise. I mean, this guy started at Duke and Notre Dame, so he's obviously not a dumbass. So I like Leonard as a late round. Hell, you never know. Maybe you hit on something a la Brock Purdy. You get him in the right system, and he does have all the natural tools. I have one quarterback left, but I want to answer a couple questions from the YouTube first. Muhammad Abdi asked me, why do people say you need running quarterbacks when they don't win Super Bowls? Well, my argument to that would be you're going to get a running quarterback that wins the Super Bowl this year. Because it's not necessarily that you need a runner. You need guys that are mobile. Statues don't work in the NFL at this point. That's also a fear of mine with Shadur Sanders. Because as athletic as you would think he is, he's really not, and he never shows it. Now, C.J. Stroud didn't show it much at Ohio State, and he's found a way to show it in the NFL to a point. It could go that way for Shadur. I just don't find it to be likely. I need a guy that's not just absolutely immobile. So I think what I'm talking about with mobility, it's not necessarily I want a running quarterback. I just need a guy that can actually move. I hope that answered your question. And Notorious B.I.G. said all the pocket quarterbacks are out of the playoffs and told me I need to get in touch with Couch Potato General Manager before the Senior Bowl. I think I've heard of that guy before, and I would like to get in touch with him. I consume a lot of stuff, so I'm not always 100% sure what these guys' names are. Then we're to my final draftable quarterback, and this is one of the hardest evaluations I think I've ever had for a quarterback because there are things about this kid that I really like. There are things about this kid that I really don't like, and one of them is that he is so damn small. It's Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. This kid has been a prolific college FBS quarterback. He's insanely smart. He very rarely ever makes big, bad decisions. Timing's good. Accuracy's good. I'll say he has a neutral arm. I don't think it's above average. I don't think it's plus, but I also don't think it's a negative. And he has really good touch. Really good in the pocket, really good at stepping into throws, really good at climbing the ladder in the pocket. Now, here's where my reservations come in. He does not have great zip on the ball. He does not have a particularly big arm. And he is insanely little. It can work. I just don't think he has... I didn't mind the little with Bryce Young because I think Bryce Young did a lot of things at a special level. Super accurate. I don't really have any of that with Dylan Gabriel. I don't have that in a way that I think translates to the NFL. I do believe, look, this is a league that Easton Stick has stuck around for many, many years. So I think there is a role for him in the league, and he probably plays a handful of years in the league. I just don't really think you're going to see... I don't think you're going to see him have some great resurrection as a franchise quarterback. He's a Jag. He's just a guy. There's not really much special to him. I've got a 7th round grade on him. I think he is draftable. I think he is one of the 256 best players in this draft. But other than that, there's just really not a whole lot special to him. In the YouTube chat, if you have any other quarterbacks that you would like to hear a 30-second overview on, feel free to chuck those out in the chat. I'll see if there are any other comments that I need to hit before I get out of here, as I've gone 54 solid minutes of just talking my ass off about quarterbacks. And it's been good to do. I think it was Stephen Tao yesterday that said Jeremy's tone of voice just changes when he's talking about the draft. It's because I love the draft. It's my thing, and it's my favorite time of the year. I'm just looking up and down the list here. Donovan Smith is a guy that is somewhat intriguing to me. Nobody's asked me about him, but I am somewhat intrigued by him, kind of the same way I'm with KJ Jefferson. I think those are both undrafted free agents that they just have such natural ability that they probably get a shot. There are not a ton of small school guys. Tommy Mellett out of Montana State, I think he probably gets a look among undrafted free agents. I just saw a name pop up that can't possibly be right. Yeah, that's not right. It's about to be like, I met that kid at the Senior Bowl last year. There's absolutely no way that he's in this draft class too. It's a bad class. This is a bad year to need a quarterback. This is a bad year to be trying to chase a talent that's just not there. William Workman pointed out Donovan Smith. He's a gigantic, very mobile kid. His arm leaves a lot to be desired. Red Sea, we'll get the Discord link up in the Patreon right after this show. It's tied. The Discord is tied to the Patreon, so I can't just put the link in the chat. That's the reason that I haven't done that yet. I have the something went wrong in the chat. I can now no longer see the chat. I don't know where it went. Okay, so that is your quarterback breakdown. Up on the screen now, you're going to see momentarily, you're going to see my draft rankings where you can digest all of the things, as opposed to me just saying it. Boo. That will be up on the website later today. I am putting out top 13s for every position that will be going up over the course of the next week, and then I will really dive into the Senior Bowl the week that I'm down there, and we will get all of those things up as quickly as we can. I can now no longer see the chat, so I don't know anything that is happening that way. And I don't know why. That is one of the strangest things I think I've ever seen. Oh, I bet I know why that is. A little shocked it took this long for that to become a problem. Stand by for just a second. There it is. Red Sea said Jeremy can't see us. Quick, do crimes. JT Money said he missed the start, so can we go over the new website stuff? So NFLDraft.net will be debuting later today. You will see the website is far from done. I didn't want to put anything on the website before I got the chance to put it out. This is the reason that I will be working from home this week, is that I will be doing one of these basically a day, putting out individual prospect rankings, things like that. And then those will go on the website. I will be doing deep dives on the Patreon. The best way I can explain it is if you want the deep divey stuff, and you want to have access to just asking me any question that you want that from the Patreon. The stuff that you're used to getting from the ESPN radio show will be on our YouTube and on the website, and then we will hit the high notes on the ESPN radio show. That's the basic way that Tank and I have wrapped our brain around how this is going to go. But it's something I'm very excited about. I'm also excited that it's something that we can take off Tank's plate, something that he doesn't have to worry about. You can see the logo all over the screen here. I'm very proud of that. We will have shirts. So we have a merch store for this. We will have the NFLDraft.net logo in every NFL team's colors. I can't use their logos because obviously that's copyright infringement. But I have, actually I can put that on the screen as well because I have already done one. I was tinkering with this morning. Oh, there it is. There it is for the Baltimore Ravens. I'll put that underneath. Actually, I'll put it right here beside my face. Boop. Yep. So you'll have every NFL team's colors represented, and that will basically be our draft shirts for this year. And I'll get those up in the merch store as quick as I can. That's obviously it's a very intricate logo, and it takes a lot of. I got to go through and make sure every little thing is clicked. So I'll have those out probably within, I'll say 2 weeks. I should have those in the store by the time we come back from the Super Bowl. Okay. Yes. Colin talking about posting in the Discord. So the Discord will be available. I will post it on the Patreon here momentarily. It's really hard for me to do all of those things at one time. So, and we have, I gotta find my button. Michael Meadows has joined the NFLDraft.net Patreon, as has Tristan Johnson, and all of these guys have joined as Draft Novice, which is it's $3 a month. It's basically just a hey, I appreciate what you're doing there. We won't have as many lives. There will be 2 or 3 a week of lives, and obviously you'll be able to super chat there. But really, that's just a hey, thanks for what you do, and you will have access to all of the things. And we have 2 more. Rex B has joined the NFLDraft.net Patreon as a draft novice. And Michael Tolley has joined the NFLDraft.net Patreon as a draft novice. The links to the Patreon are in the chat. Oh, we have another one. James Rarick has Rarick. Jimothy, I don't know if I am screwing your name up, so tell me which one is which. Red Sea asked if he's the only $20 member. You are for this moment. You also got to realize, or no, Colin is too. That's right. You also won't be the only ones. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I fucked the Patreon up for about 12 hours. I accidentally hit the unpublished thing, so I had people going, hey, I can't get to it, and I was nowhere near my computer. So until about 11:30 this morning, it was not visible, which was a touch of a problem. And thank all of you guys. You guys are always awesome for all of these things. You're also just fantastic to support all of the things that we do. And I appreciate it so much. Tank nor I can appropriately express how much we appreciate what all of you guys do, and you're here for all the things we do. And this one is, for me, Tank always calls it my passion project. That's exactly what it is. This is a passion project for me. Red Sea asked if I was getting emotional. I mean, I can't tell you that I won't by the end of the day, because I'll probably be drunk by the end of the national title game tonight. This has been a long time coming for me. I've worked for a couple of the larger sites over the years. One of them as a ghostwriter, where I couldn't even put my name on shit. And so now to have my own site and have, guys like William Workman and Jonathan Welch and frankly anybody else that wants an opportunity to have their content out there, it's exciting for me. And so I'm very excited about this journey. I'm excited to have all of you guys on this journey with me. And I think we've had a successful first live stream talking about quarterbacks. That will go up on the website. My goal is to have the website up by kickoff of the national title game tonight. Tank and I will be convening in about 55 minutes for NFL Overreaction Monday. So we will have a second stream. It's already up, so don't worry. This one doesn't become that one. There's none of those things. So, JT Money, yes, you guys did make me cry on stream once. This is a tough business to try to make it your own. I have a lot of podcasters that are on my social medias, and I see a lot of guys that struggle with all of the same things we do, and they don't have the support of guys like you, and that's what keeps us going. So we appreciate you more than we could ever say. Colin said, "Now if I can just get him to stop going against my Chiefs." It's not going against. I'm just tired of watching them win. I really do. I'm so tired of watching them win. Sir Jimothy said, in terms of his name, it depends on where you were from. Down south, we pronounce it Rarick. Okay, that's what I thought, and then I said Rarick, and it felt weird, so I didn't quite know which one it was. Jimothy also said the only Patreon he's ever done. Patreon takes so much less money from us than everything else does that it is so. It is not a flawless platform, but we're gonna learn it together. And thankfully, I have Colin, who is a Discord freaking master. So that greatly helps. It helps that I have people in my world that you're really good at helping me do shit that I don't know how to do. Speaking of which, shout out to intern Michaela, who is fixing our Instagram, because I don't understand it at all. Doesn't make any sense to me. Don't understand why people do it. Don't really understand why people do TikTok. Videos for while you poop. That's all TikTok actually is. All right. I am going to grab a little bit of lunch before the Overreaction Monday live stream starts in 53 minutes. I appreciate all of you guys. Go subscribe to the new NFLDraft.net YouTube page. It is at NFLDraftNet. That is the YouTube handle. And then the link to the Patreon's in the chat here. We will have it linked. It will be linked in literally every video we do for the next 3 months. So, and James, he said, "Oh, it's the only Patreon I've ever done." I have no idea what I just signed up for. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not real sure what you signed up for either, because I am leaving it all in you guys' hands. Whatever it is you want that Patreon to be, that's what it's going to be. I am the voice. I've probably never been more prepared on January 20th for an NFL draft, and I am so excited to put all that knowledge out there and get you guys set up and ready to go. And we'll be at this draft, which I'm very excited about. We'll also be there for all 3 days this year, and we've got friends that will be meeting there, and It's going to be a good time. All right. I got about 50 minutes till another show, so you guys maybe find a bite to eat. Don't go anywhere. We're back roughly 50 minutes. I am Jeremy Green, the @ESPN Draft Nerd. This is the launch day of NFLDraft.net. We will see you in just about an hour.
I was built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. Don't never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy.